Okay, Richard Rios to Manchester United. Let's get straight into it. And first things first, Richard Rios, a player who has really stand out this season, in particular in the Copa Libertadores and now in the Club World Cup. He's really done well for Palmeiras. Again, I kind of like us being linked to more South American players. Now, Richard Rios is an interesting case because he's not like the low-key signing like Diego Leon is. He was kind of in the limelight when the season's over. Everyone's watching the Club World Cup, so you kind of got to see him play up Palmeiras. But nonetheless, the main reason why I say this is because I'm Manchester United. Our transfer strategy of going for the big European names has not worked. We need to develop young players and we need to go out there and get players like Richard Rios, who's 25 and who's going to start getting into his prime. You know, those are the type of players we need to try and get. And we need to try and get players in these different markets so, you know, we don't get that United tax like we would when you're trying to get a player from, let's say, Germany or Italy or Spain, Portugal, where you're definitely going to get that European tax. Going for players in other leagues outside of Europe, if you play it properly, can be a very good strategy going forwards. But yeah, just on Richard Rios, we're talking about a box-to-box midfielder. We made the video yesterday on what's his name, Javi Guerra, Spanish midfielder. I generally believe that Richard Rios is a better talent. He is older and closer to his prime. So if we're talking about this window with Ruben Amorim, Richard Rios may just be the player to get. You know, Colombian player with that South American style, that South American flair. He can be a player on a one-on-one, definitely. Works really hard off the ball. And, you know, it's just someone who fits the profile of the type of player that we need at Manchester United. Now, Amorim's vision, and Amorim has stressed before that he wants more depth in the midfield. That's why we're looking for midfielders. That's why we've been linked to different midfielders. So this move definitely makes sense from a club perspective because it's someone who Ruben Amorim has needed. He's expressed that he needs another midfielder in that midfield. He wants more competition. He wants that rotation throughout the season. We're not going to be in the Europa League or just European football in general this season, but you're still in the FA Cup. You're still in the Carabao Cup. You have 38 games to play in the Premier League. Games come at you fast and heavy. You need to make sure you have that squad rotation. So having a box-to-box midfielder definitely makes sense, especially now we don't know what Casemiro is going to look like. We don't know what the progression with Manuel Ugarte is going to look like. It's going to look like, knock on wood, you know, I want Kobe Mainoo to be healthy, but we saw what happened to Kobe Mainoo this season when he was injured. Our midfield just looked lackluster. We let go of Scott McTominay last summer, so, you know, we need that depth in the midfield, so it definitely makes sense to go for Rio. Now, the transfer situation. Now, all of these reports, I can't back them up 100%. I don't think we can ever back them up 100%. You know, people have been saying, and Mbeumo has been closed for like 4 weeks now. It's always, Mbeumo is close, and Mbeumo is close. He wants United, but it's not happened yet. So I don't know how accurate these reportings are, but it has been reported that Palmeiras have dropped the asking price from 85 million to 26 million. And if that's the case, you definitely need to get him. I feel like 85 million is a bit overpriced for someone who is unproven in Europe. However, 26 million, that does look a lot more attractive, and that's definitely a price that United should be willing to pay. But as I always say, I am much different than other creators in the sense that I do not care how much a player costs. You know, it's not my money. These owners, these CEOs, these CFOs we have at United, they're all millionaires. The owners, they're billionaires. So I don't care how much money they spend. They've got the money to spend. You know, I don't really care how much money they spend. I want the best team possible at Manchester United next season. In a dream world, we would be winning the Premier League next season and the Champions League. We'll be winning everything. But that's not the place we're in. So we need to try and build a squad. So I don't really care how much we spend as long as we get the right players. However, I don't like when United get made to look like fools because that's going to impact our future transfers. But once again, 26 million, pay the asking price and let's move on with it. If we're really going to go and sign a player, then definitely pay the asking price. As I said before, try and get these players in as early as possible because we've seen them in the past, the impact of not having a good pre-season. We need to give these players a good preseason, especially when they're coming from a different club, a different country, a different environment. We need to embed them into Ruben Amorim's vision and what he wants to do in the team as soon as possible. Next point. The stats back it up. His stats look very good. I was looking at his stats for the season. I watched him play, obviously, but I also looked at his stats from the season. And I can't show you how he plays right now because of the setup I'm in. When I get back home, it will be a lot easier to do the reactions. But at the minute, we're talking about a player who is in the 88th percentile for goals, in the 95th percentile for assists, 96th percentile for shot volume, 79th percentile for tackles, and 89th percentile for take-ons. He's a very solid player. He's someone who you can definitely see at United for a long time. A rare midfielder who defends, attacks, and carries the ball with intent. You know, a deep line playmaker, someone who's going to be able to go from box to box, work off the ball, and when the ball goes to him, he's going to be someone who's going to be able to create and help Bruno Fernandes and the rest of our attackers in that sense. Now, should we sign him? I mean, he kind of fits the player profile that Amorim wants. The asking price of 26 million is looking very good. It's just that he will need time. It's just, we have to keep that in our minds. When we do sign him, we will need to give him time. But aside from that, in my opinion, so far, this does look like a better signing than Javi Guerra. And yeah, I say go for him. I say definitely sign him. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. Do all those things to please help me grow this channel. And as per usual, I'll see you guys soon.